we go into Thursday. This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. We're packed today in 1 hour. Greg Cosell, as good a guest as we bring on this hour. Peter King stops by. Matt Barnes, TJ Hushmanzada. Joy Taylor is joining me on a breaking news day. We don't get a ton of these, maybe 20 a year, 15 a year, something like that.
Big time news.
Yeah, big time news. This really has an effect on the NFL. And as you've heard, I'm sure by now, in the last hour to hour and a half, Josh Gordon is no longer a New England Patriot. Perhaps it's mental health. There was a program in place. He has obviously, for the last 5 years, struggled to stay in football, a marvelously talented young man. He is gone, and I would imagine not only gone from the Patriots, gone from the NFL, which is a bummer because I believe in second chances. But this ends New England's Super Bowl threat. It's over. It is officially over. If you don't watch the Patriots and you have your own favorite team, I've got to watch all these games. He is their number one receiver. Edelman's a slot guy. You got to throw the ball over the top in 2018. He's their go-to big play receiver. He leads this team in yards. Since week 5, he had the second most offensive snaps at wide receiver to Edelman. And again, Edelman is not scaring anybody in this league. This is just not losing a player. This is losing their dynamic, hyper-athletic, super dangerous, over-the-top wide receiver. And by the way, you could sense it was coming. Tom Brady only throws to people he trusts. In 2010 against Miami on a Monday Night Football game, he only targeted Randy Moss one time. I worked at ESPN. I said at the time, it's over. People said, you're overreacting. I said, no. Randy Moss is too good on the road at Miami, Monday Night Football game, Tom Brady, to target once. It's over. A week later, he was out. And in this Sunday against Pittsburgh, Josh Gordon was targeted twice. Once New England got past midfield on 7 plays, they never targeted him. Something was amiss. Brady does not target or throw to people he doesn't trust. He trusted Josh Gordon for 2.5 months. Something was wrong. And today we find out. Listen, it's over for New England this year. I don't know what happens in the draft and free agency, but for this year, they're out of the Super Bowl bubble. Kansas City forces you, because of their deep threats, to play honest. T.Y. Hilton, Indy, forces you to play honest, deep threats. Chargers, Steelers, Texans, the AFC, everybody forces you to be honest. New England this morning, what are you going to do? Philip Dorsett? What do you do? To me, the Super Bowl bubble right now in the NFL, it shrinks. Like college football. You start with 130 teams, you get down to about 5. The Super Bowl bubble to me in the NFL today is Chargers, Chiefs, Bears, Steelers, Saints, and New England is on the out. You don't have to play them honest. You can crowd the box, therefore taking away their primary strength, their running game. They're not going to beat you quickly. They won't be as good playing from behind now because they can't catch up quickly. They're a running, throw to a slot receiver team. And boy, do they miss. They had Brandon Cooks. Let him go. But in college football, it takes us about 13 or 14 weeks. And you can figure out pretty soon. Couple SEC teams, Oklahoma, Clemson, they're in the bubble. NFL, it takes you longer. You got to see weaknesses. Who's in, who's out, who's injured, who's not. New England's not a championship football team. They're just not. And I want to segue to this. And again, I have great sympathy for Josh Gordon, the human being. But New England's season is now going to end with an L, a loss. It's not going to end with a win. And what's going to happen is that everybody in the media is going to say, Brady! Brady is getting old. This is on Tom. I mean, Tom can't elevate people. In the last decade, you see all the Chiefs' talent they give their quarterback? The Colts, the Chargers, the Steelers, Dak, Wentz. Look at all these quarterbacks in the league and the weapons they have. In the last decade, New England has drafted one legitimate receiver. 10 years, Julian Edelman. And he was a quarterback out of Kent State. This is on Belichick. Tom has nothing to work with here. Go back to their last 5 drafts. 2014, one guy left, James White. 2015, one offensive guy left, a guard. 2016, one guy left offensively, a guard. 2017, nobody left. 2018, we got a pretty good running back, Sony Michel. Guards, running backs who are better receivers than runners, and a rookie. That's it. New England's season is going to end with a loss. And we think, and I know what I'm going to hear, is that Tom Brady's age. Oh, it's Tom Brady. No, it's not Tom Brady. I said this earlier. Gronk's a shell of himself. Edelman, way past his prime, bad case of the drops. Philip Dorsett's a bust. Josh Gordon's now gone. James White's a catcher, not a running back. Sony Michel, your rookie, is it. And by the way, Edelman's coming off an ACL injury. And do you know New England's like 7th in the league in offense? Who the hell could do that besides Brady? Look at the gifts Mahomes has, that Goff has. Look at the guys around the league, what they have to work with. Good Lord, when's the last time Pittsburgh drafted a receiver and he wasn't dynamic? I mean, Baltimore went out and drafted 2 tight ends. They can both play and got 3 new receivers. They're all solid. People say Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have nothing. He doesn't have anything to work with. Randall Cobb can still play. Jordy Nelson was amazing. Devontae Adams is a beast. They went and got Jimmy Graham. Their left tackle's one of the best in football. I mean, I don't want to hear about Aaron Rodgers doesn't have gifts. Are you kidding me? Go look at Pittsburgh's wide receivers and the Chargers tight ends and receivers and the Chiefs, Colts, Texans. They all have deep threats, intermediate threats, slot guys, running backs. Listen, remember, Joy, I was in the LA Chargers draft room this year. They invited me into the draft room. So I was sitting there, and they drafted like 17th. And I was in that draft room when they drafted Derwin James. But since I was in the draft room, I get credit for it too. Okay, so New England has not drafted a Pro Bowler since 2013. Not an offensive Pro Bowler, since 2013. I essentially have drafted more Pro Bowlers than the Patriots in 2013. I'm taking credit, half credit for Derwin James. Folks, you're going to blame Brady's age. Belichick is doing him no favors offensively. They've taken advantage of him. They can't draft receivers. Edelman's the last in a decade they've drafted that's done anything. Gronk's a shell of himself. They went and gave up stuff for Philip Dorsett. Josh Gordon now's gone. Why are we always blaming Brady's age? They're top 7 in the league if you look at like points and yards. And this past week against Pittsburgh, we were all like, oh, man, they couldn't score. Well, now we know why. Because instead of drafting a young receiver, they had to go to Cleveland, and Cleveland said, listen, we're not going to deal with Josh Gordon. He's a wonderful kid, but we got to get out of this. That was their answer for Tom. They're not giving Brady enough to work with. And this season's going to end here in about 3 weeks. They may be able to get past the Bills and the Jets. I don't doubt it. But they can't. This is not a team capable of beating the Chargers, the Chiefs. I don't think they can beat the Colts, the Texans now. It's going to get really predictable really fast. It's all going to be Brady's fault because he's old. It's not. It is remarkable what he's doing when you consider the lack of gifts they've given him. All right, coming up next, we got a lot of stuff going on. Major Jim Harbaugh rumor. He is going to get, whether he takes it or not, a major NFL offer. And also coming up, pump the brakes on how great Anthony Davis is. He needs LeBron way more than LeBron needs Anthony Davis. That is coming up next. Folks, this time of the year, we are online more than we usually are. We are getting airline tickets. I bought airline tickets 2 days ago. We're shopping online. Wi-Fi, you're at an airport, maybe free, doesn't mean it's secure. This is the time of the year you are very vulnerable to cyber criminals. This is where LifeLock comes in with Norton Security. They can't find every transaction, monitor every cyber criminal, but they make it really easy and will spot problems that you can't find on your own. That's LifeLock with Norton Security. All you have to do is call 1-800-LifeLock. That's 1-800-LifeLock and use the promo code HERD, or go to lifelock.com and put in the promo code HERD. In both instances, you'll get 15% off.